So Trump's first 100 days in office, right, is that there's been chaos, there's been talks of crypto, and a lot of market whiplash. Trump, the first thing he did on those 100 days right before election is he dropped the Trump coin. Then right after that, he dropped the Millenia coin. Now, Trump coin is down 82% from his highs. Millenia is down 97%. And then Trump had a dinner for the top Trump holders, which caused a spike, but obviously something like that is not going to hold an asset up. Now, like I said, I'm going to be candid here. I try to be candid with you guys and straight up. The first 100 days of office have been chaos. If this continues, that was a bad choice for all of us. Trump's first thing that happened, he was supposed to do a Bitcoin reserve, and he did it, but it was a disappointment. Because first he put out a quote and said he was going to add XRP and Solana. Then the Bitcoin people got mad at him. Then he said only Bitcoin. And then once he released the Bitcoin strategic reserve, he said they wasn't going to buy any coins. It was just the coins they already got. Now, that was a complete letdown to everything he said. He went around 6 months prior to the election talking about how he was going to do a Bitcoin reserve. Now, nobody defined what it would be, but every other reserve in the U.S. that the U.S. has, they acquire assets in those reserves. The United States has multiple reserves. They got an oil reserve, they got a cheese reserve, they got a milk reserve, they got a granite reserve. You know, the United States keeps these strategic reserves in case something happens down the line in the future. But they always acquired. So by definition, the word Bitcoin reserve meant that the United States would require, on some level, Bitcoin. And that's not what happened. Because they buckled to pressure. First of all, Trump said he was going to do XRP and Solana. The Bitcoiners got mad at him, so the Bitcoin maxis. So he buckled to that pressure and changed to Bitcoin only. Then he did another type of reserve for XRP or whatever. And then when the other people, the government people got mad, the other Republicans, oh, you can't use government money to do this. He buckled again and said he was only going to use coins that the government already seized. Trump was supposed to be the crypto president. We expected him to get in there. He even said himself the first few months he was going to get crypto's price up to 150. And then he got in there with all this tariff stuff. Now, I understand the meaning, what he's trying to do. The other countries have been taking advantage of us for years. Other countries' tariffs are 3, 4, 5 times higher than what we charge. And it's not fair to the United States. But like a spoiled child, you can't cut a child off instantly. If you've been spoiling a child for 20 years, you can't all of a sudden tell the child that you're going to take his car away, take his allowance away, and make him live on his own. That child will obviously fail. Because you created a situation by being weak, slowly get them off. You can't instantly tell China you're going to do a 400% tariff. They've been spoiled for 20 years. They're not going to be able to handle that. You need to do that slow over time until they can stand on their own. And that's what we should have done. He did it a lot of it too fast, all at once. And of course, that's going to cause markets and Bitcoin to drag down. Bitcoin fell to 75,000. Then he went back, temporary pauses, because another time he buckled to pressure. But the problem with buckling and saying something bold, then buckling the pressure, then saying something else bold and buckling the pressure, then saying something else bold. Now, we look at the whole history. He said he was going to do a Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, add that to the crypto reserve. Bitcoin maxis made him buckle, so he came down. Then he did Bitcoin reserve. The people in the House and the Senate got mad at him, don't use taxpayer money. He buckled again. Then tariffs, another bold move. All the other countries didn't submit like he thought they would. He buckled again. Now, bold moves buckling the pressure, bold moves. It's creating an environment of uncertainty, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You have to go one way or the other with all this stuff. And hopefully for the next 100 days, he will start to do that. Now, investor sentiment is falling because of all this uncertainty. Bitcoin is still down 12% from when he took office. S&P 500 is still down 8-9% since Trump's been in office. Polymarket's odds of Bitcoin hitting 150 by a year end have dropped 30%. Investors have been turning to gold in this economic uncertainty until recently. This back and forth constantly is killing us. And hopefully, he said Trump actually has a speech coming up talking about what he's going to do in the next 100 days. And hopefully, over these next 100 days, he can change paths. Now, I think Trump can do it, but he has to stop buckling the pressure. Say a bold move and stick with it. That's what you just got to stick with this stuff. You can't bounce back and forth. You have to stick with what you say, regardless of who says what.